Welcome to another Outsider Review. My name is Pat, and this is my channel. And this week, we've got what's more important than me is the 2025 Volkswagen Taos, a vehicle that's very dear to me because it's one of the first ones I ever reviewed back in 2024 when we started the channel. And what I love the most about this car is practicality. Now, Volkswagen will tell you it's all about practicality and style. I think style is a little bit subjective, but practicality is the theme of this car. It's all the tiny attention to detail. And since my background is military, I love attention to detail. So obviously I'm gonna love these things, but there's still one thing that bugs me a lot about it. So I did a faux pas already. I told you about things that I love. We're supposed to wait till the end of the video and all that stuff. I'm not all about that. I'm about telling you guys what's up. Outsider Reviews, like, subscribe, and let's get right into it. So right away, a few new things to 2025 as we look at the front end over here is styling cues. Where did it get the styling cues from? Obviously, you've got some things they took from the ID4. This body color right here, it definitely gave me vibes of ID4 styling. So they're going to make basically their line look all roughly the same. Headlights are really cool. Light bar, again, another EV trait right here. So we got light bar going across. We don't have the light up Volkswagen symbol, so at least they didn't do that. But also the H kind of pattern lights, the IQ light, that is basically standard. So another thing that is new to this year is a more powerful engine. So we got a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that now puts up 174 horsepower. That's a 16 horsepower more than the previous year. And it puts out 184 pounds-feet of torque with an enhanced transmission. So they got rid of the dual clutch transmission. So we got a standard automatic 8-speed transmission. I'll address that when I'm talking more about drivability, because one of my biggest cons against the Taos in 2023 and 2024 was the turbo lag off the start. Did they fix it? For that one, I'm going to ask you guys to stay tuned. Fuel economy, combined fuel economy, looking at 8.4 liters per 100 kilometers or 28 miles per gallon from my American friends. Pricing is in Canada from $30,000 to $39,000 and $25,000 to $35,000 for the US. So overall, change some front styling. Tell me what you guys think about it. I love it. I think it looks cool. But did the Taos really need that much of a styling change? No, I kind of like the boxiness of it and the convenience of it all. So we're going to go back to the side profile here. As I'm going to kick out my cameraman, just get the whole vehicle here. So for this class, one thing I love about the Taos is that it's spacious. For the price, you get a lot of cargo space, which families tend to usually want. And how they go about that, I'm gonna get more in details about it, but I just love it. I have still keyless entry right here at a touch of a button at the door handle. And what do you guys think about this green? I love it. Green is my favorite color. My wife that's recording right now, Panda, she knows that. But I love green. I love this green. Comment below what you guys think. But I like the stance. I like that it's not, too low as far as a subcompact SUV. And really, as far as aesthetics, which is always, in the eye of the beholder, and I like it. It's one of my favorite ones in this class. I think it looks good, and they nailed it. Now let's go to the back here. One thing that some people don't like, and I think, I don't think it's necessary, but, the faux exhaust pipes here, it's just, the fact that you need to tuck it in, you're not fooling anybody, especially with the sound of this engine, which we'll go into later on. This is obviously a gas vehicle. I do like the, again, LEDs, lights going across. Everything kind of looks good. Now, one thing that this does not have, as we get into this, is does not have a powered tailgate. Doesn't matter which trim you're going to choose to. So it's going to be manual. You're going to have to throw some manpower in there to lift that up, but it still has the hydraulic assist and such. Inside, what you're looking at for cargo space is 28 cubic feet of space with the seats up and 66 cubic feet of space with the seats down. One thing I absolutely love is that pass-through, that convenient pass-through for longer items. Hockey sticks, go Canada. And another thing that this is really great is it actually has a spare tire. Yeah, a lot of people are going without the spare tire, and this one, they decided to keep it. So kudos on Volkswagen for that, because you never know when a flat can happen. That could really ruin your day. Now let's go inside. Back here is when we're going to start seeing some of the practicality, especially in this segment. 37.9 inches of leg room is ample. For reference, I'm 5'9", and headroom is, I still have a couple inches to spare. Very good. I like it, and I like the comfort level of it too. One thing I don't like is how significant the hump is down here. That's like a 6-inch standing out. So when I was trying to do a crossover over there to get out that way, it was very cumbersome. Did not like it. I do have my own ventilation, which I gotta appreciate, and I have one USB-C connection, 2 kangaroo pouch, and you can see a little bit. I have a shade for the panoramic sunroof, which definitely comes in handy on a sunny day like today. Cup holders, yep, check. And again, I've mentioned that I have access to a pass-through, so I could just fold this down and get access to my cargo space, which I always appreciate as a hockey player. Overall here, we do have the top trim, so we have a perforated leather seats. However, I do not have heated seats, and the fabric on the doors is quite plasticky, which is not the case when you go to the front, which is my next stop. And welcome to the front when things are much nicer and a little bit redesigned. We got a more refined cabin. By that I mean, so the doors actually got some soft touch leather on it, and you know what? It looks really sharp. It goes, I like this color, this nice kind of like beige color, and you got that leather that goes up to the front as well. And we got a nice floating infotainment system, 8-inch touchscreen, all together with the HVAC system. Everything kind of looks refined, nothing sticking out too much. And then we got the digital driver information cluster, but they still went with some buttons here. So a lot of you guys might have been concerned that they would have gone with that tactile stuff that they have on the ID4. No, we got some nice physical button on here. Everything is pretty straightforward, really. This is a very simple car in that sense, not too much tech, but I still have a map view in there. It's 100% digital, and you can customize it to whatever you would like. Definitely like that. Another thing I like is my headlights controls are down here, and it's basically a nice rotary switch right here to activate your. Some people hate that it's done through the screens. I see that in the comment section. Well, here you have a dial, so you're good. You got your light control stock over here. You got your windshield wiper stock over there, rear wiper and all. Everything kind of very straightforward, right? It's no nonsense to a point. I'll get to that point later. Touchscreen, it's good, but I will say this kind of looks a little bit basic when I'm going through the settings here. Just, you know, graphic wise, and that might not bug a lot of you guys. And these buttons around the side here, the radio, the nav, the menu, it's tactile, right? It's just touch of a button. It does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which I appreciate. Screen quality is pretty good. If I was to go into reverse, I do not have 360-degree camera, but I do have 360 front and back sensors, so it'll just tell me if I'm close. And you have the picture of the car right here. I think that's good enough, especially in this particular segment. And last about the cameras, I do like that it has a trailer hitch view, although this vehicle is not rated for towing, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, it's got lots of views, lots of assists for parking assist and touch, more than what you need. And as you turn, it'll tell you where you're going to park. See how that red square turns into a green square somewhere when you find a good parking spot. There you go. I think that's kind of maybe a little bit too much for a driver like me, but I do understand that some people will appreciate these kind of technology. It's good. HVAC controls here. Now this is actually tactile use, so they turned away from knobs and such, and I know the feedback is mixed. Some people hate it, some people don't mind it. I'm one of the camps that don't mind it. I slide, load, down, back, forward. It's a good way to, fast way to adjust it, but I can see how it could bug some people. Now, I want to get into, right below that, something that might sound silly to you guys, but as a person that does long road trips, and usually I use my wireless Apple CarPlay, and so my phone's always working. I have my wireless charger pad here. I appreciate that it's rubber and it's very sticky. And one thing I noticed is while I was driving back from a 3-hour road trip, and I grabbed my phone, I had a bit of a scare moment, and I was like, did it not charge my phone the whole ride? Because my phone was cold. There is a fan down here blowing cold air. So it's not really related to the HVAC system, because we were blowing hot air because it was cold on the day that I was driving the vehicle back. But it'll cool down your phone. And I think that's the kind of attention to details that I love, because my phone always has a tendency sometimes of overheating just because, you know, it's charging and working a lot. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Comment below if you know. I don't think a lot of people mention that, so I think it's worth mentioning. I got 2 USB-C connection and a 12-volt cigarette lighter connection as well. Here, traditional shifter, start stop button is down here instead of where we would traditionally see it. Parking brake and all the stuff. Then we got the drive modes. So drive modes, you got the dial for drive terrain, right? If I want to switch my terrain to off-road mode, to street or snow, or custom off-road mode. And then I can change it to sport, eco, normal. So obviously it depends how dynamic. And we're going to try them all on the drive that we're going to take next. Also, I got some large cup holders here. They can fit easily a big gulp, which is pretty appreciated. And I have, as I've mentioned earlier when I was sitting back here, a panoramic sunroof that does open, and it really lights up the whole area. Not exactly a fan for camera footage wise, but I think that this looks really good. But how does it drive? Let's take it for a ride. Okay, here we are at a T-junction and about to go for a drive. Now, my seat is power adjustable and the passenger seat is manual. They're both heated and ventilated, being top trim. I just wish they were both power adjustable. I just forgot to cover that, so there it is. And overall seat comfort is really good. I find it pretty comfortable, more comfortable than the Toyota Corolla Cross I drove last week, because I found the bolstering was kind of strong and narrow. I'm a bigger individual, I understand that, but that's what I feel, and that's what I'm going to tell you guys. Now, I haven't driven this for a week. This is where the vehicle doesn't shine. Right here, I'm at a T-junction intersection. They don't have a stop sign. This is like a country road. People go like 80 kilometers an hour here. And if it was busy, if there was a lot of traffic, which there's not this morning, this is where the vehicle gives me the pause. The con I was talking about earlier. This is where it still is there. I'm in normal mode, which is what you're gonna drive in, you know, on most cases. And you come to this intersection, and let's say there's a lot of vehicles, and you're looking at a gap like, can I make this? This vehicle is gonna make me second guess myself just because of that lag. Now just watch, listen, and I'm gonna wait for this vehicle to go by, because we don't want to get in an accident with a Silverado. And here we go. So from the moment I said here we go, I pressed the pedal. So you see there's a bit of a 1.5 second where it's like revving and then it kicks in. I'm gonna stop here in the middle of the road since there's nobody here, and I'm gonna try to do it again. Yeah, see. Once it gets going though, it kicks in. Man, you got that 184 pounds-feet of torque that kicks right in, and it definitely feels, you know, more peppy than the previous year. That 16 horsepower extra that you're getting this year, it's doing its job. And there's no concern for like merging on the highway. You got plenty of torque and horsepower for this vehicle, which also feels very light when I'm driving it. Some people might say like feels like a little cheap, but it just feels light. It's not as noise insulated as you would in a premium vehicle. I understand that. So you do get some of that engine noise. And that engine noise is not the most appealing, but I mean, in this segment, they're all going to sound kind of like that. I think it's still better than the Toyota Corolla Cross. That engine noise is just kind of makes you a little bit eerie. But no, and what it does too is this is a very bumpy road that I'm on. It's a Quebec side road, country road, and there's a lot of impromptu speed bumps. It just kind of goes all over the place, and this absorbs it very well. It's as if it's perfectly designed for people that live in the country, because there's a lot of road imperfections, and this absorbs them very, very well. But the thing also while driving it on the highway that impressed me the most, but it's also applicable for parking, is visibility. I can so clearly see all around me. The fact that they have a nice, decent sized windows anyways between the C and the D pillar really helps you out. You know, you don't have any dead angle when you're looking at it. It's like I can pretty much see everything, and the mirrors are a very good size. So when I'm driving this car around, I feel safer because I can see everything around me. Now, although the snow has started to melt in the last 2 days, we've been getting pretty high temperatures, and that's why I've been recording in a t-shirt, something I wasn't able to do like last week. But I did take it in the snow earlier this week, and I did do some slalom just to test the traction control and how it, interacts when you're in slippage. So it pretty much acts average. I kind of had higher hopes. Volkswagen usually does this better than most, but I would say it kind of performed as well as the Toyota Corolla Cross that I drove the previous week, and it performed as well as all the others. I was hoping it would do a little bit better, but one thing it does do better is, if I'm on a pavement right here, is body roll. Almost no body roll is what I feel. You might see some on the camera, but this is very well tuned for both absorbing road imperfections but also preventing body roll, so you can take those corners a little bit more aggressively if you feel like it. And I'm running on those 19-inch wheels, which looks pretty good. I like the spoke design of it, and definitely allow you to have a more dynamic drive. But the suspension does a really good job at absorbing all these bumps on this awful road. But overall, this vehicle does very well, and driving wise, it just has a bit of a lag when you're at a dead start. That is the only con I have from driving this vehicle, and the pros are just so great from how it handles suspension. The traction is great. Well, it's good. I wouldn't say it's great. The traction is good, and the visibility is definitely one of the best one in this segment. Just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy that I can see all the cars around me. All right, let's park it and conclude it. Okay, so driving was fun. Now let's get a little bit to the nitty-gritty of stuff. Competition. I always like to throw in a little competition there, just so you guys know what I think anyways of this in comparative to everything else out there. So the first one is going to be the Toyota Corolla Cross, mainly because I drove it last week, so that's kind of an easy comparison for me to make. This has more usable cargo space and it's more comfortable, especially for a bigger person like myself. Toyota Corolla Cross does come in a hybrid form, so yeah, the fuel economy, this one's gonna struggle. And when you get the hybrid off the line, it's definitely got to drive a little bit better. But as far as driving, the all-wheel drive traction and such, they're basically on par. The Subaru Crosstrek, well, that one does not as good as fuel efficiency, and it's not as spacious either. So as far as utility wise, I would definitely prefer the Taos, but the all-wheel drive traction of the Crosstrek cannot be beat in this segment. So that depends if you live in a lot of snow and you drive in a lot of poor condition, then perhaps the Crosstrek would be better than the Taos, but otherwise I find the Taos a little bit more practical. Next up, I do have the Kia Seltos. Now the Kia Seltos also has a very nice techy interior. It's got a lot of features and such, but I still find this one a little bit more practical with, you know, the pass-through, with the attention to detail, and as far as driving wise, I like these. Basically the handling more. I wouldn't say the acceleration more and such, but the handling, how it deals with imperfections in the road, I'm gonna prefer the Tahoe. So that's basically it for the comparison part of it. Let me know what you guys think about it. In the end, like I said from the beginning, things I love about this is basically the practicality of it. My logical brain loves this car because the attention to detail that they paid to, from, you know, the wireless charger having a fan to cool down your phone, pretty cool. The fact that it has a spare tire when everybody else is kind of like not giving you a spare tire anymore. I like to plan for, you know, fail to plan, plan to fail. They plan for you to have something happen and you're still going to be able to keep on going. Also, the pass-through for long items, especially for a hockey dad like me, you've got to love these kind of things where you can just put the sticks straight in instead of having to, you know, put a seat down and all that stuff. You don't have to juggle with that stuff. And lastly, I love the handling of it and the style of it. I like the boxy style. So overall, these are everything I love. Now here comes from the sour note. I said it before. If you watch my previous reviews, it's gotta lag off the line. It doesn't seem to like, it's not that it's got not enough torque or not enough power, because once you get going, this will merge just fine once you get going. But if you're at a stop sign, at a T-junction, for example, and traffic is going, it can be the car that will make you second guess, be like, okay, I think I have enough time, but then I'm driving this Taos, I'm gonna wait for a safer distance. That's actually, I'm saying that because it's actually happened to me. This car has made me hesitated when some other vehicles, even in this segment, I'd be like, yeah, floor it, good, I can make that gap. You may not, the lag at the beginning may make you question that. And that's the biggest con. That's essentially, that's the only con. I think the fuel efficient on this is great. And it's actually true to where it stands as far as fuel efficiency, and not everybody is. The Toyota Corolla Cross that I drove, I was over the fuel efficiency, and I drive these cars the same way every single week. So take that for what it's worth. Also, I'd like to invite you to like and subscribe so you can support me in doing more of these fun, honest reviews. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Comment below what you think about this car. What do you think about this color? Love the color. See you in the next one. That's why there's no concerns about merging on a highway. Once you get going, wow, that is a big bump.
Seeing if you have difficulty, getting out.